As J.D. Lester said in the handbook to your research paper, like death, taxes, and childbirth, tests come at an inconvenient time. Hello, I'm Eddie Martinez, and along with my partners Bentley and Ryan, we are going to be telling you about how to study for a test. We are students at Grossmont, so we take tests all the time. And as students, we need to actually do well on those tests to actually graduate and get our diplomas. Study habits and methods directly affect the outcome of your test scores, and this is how. Hello, Bentley.
Hi.
You got a perfect on your test. It really shows that you studied. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And this is a perfect example of what happens when you don't study or don't study correctly. Ryan? You didn't do so great on your test. In fact, you got a 0 on it. Did you study?
I tried to, but I didn't really know how.
Well, here are 3 ways that will help you study for your next test. So now we're going to go over 3 points on how you can make your studying effective. The first way is reading over the text and underlining main ideas and key terms. Second, we're going to go over how to create flashcards. And last, but maybe almost just as important as the rest, is where you choose to study. So first, let's begin by going over where the study material will be coming from. Read over the text. Alright, so first, when using a textbook like one of these to study from, there are a few tricks and methods that you can use to get the optimum amount of information from it. First, you want to identify the chapters, lessons, and sections that are going to be on the test. You can usually quickly find those in the table of contents and then go straight to the pages. Then you want to create a checklist so that you know exactly how many times you've read or reread the chapters, and so that you don't skip over or forget any sections or chapters to read. Read through the sections carefully. Don't worry about underlining anything or highlighting anything at this point. After you're done reading it, make sure to reread it again, and this time you can underline or highlight main ideas and key terms.
Now that you've really learned how to absorb the information from a textbook, here's a few ways to study before a test using flashcards. Organizing main points and key terms allows better understanding and memorization of information, and here are a few ways to do so. Creating flashcards with main ideas and key terms. When creating flashcards, you can always use different colors for different terms and different definitions to keep organized. Using different size flashcards is also a good idea when it comes to different subjects. Also, writing down the information in a way that you'll understand it. Remember that flashcards are made so you can walk around, go to different classes, and study in between right before you have a test. It is always easier to remember the information that you wrote down personally. Remember to rewrite your notes after your class as soon as possible so that the information really sinks in. Answering review questions at the end of the book is good because it better acquaints yourself with the main ideas. According to Mario Lopez, Vice President of Student Services Operation at University of Phoenix, they should have scheduled time set aside to dedicate to their studies, to read their course materials, and to work on assignments or discussion questions. Students should also attempt to remove any distractions that may disrupt their study time so that they are making the most out of the time they have carved aside, and this is where flashcards come in perfectly.
Which brings us to our last key for preparing for a test: where to study. Where you study has a larger impact on how you do on your test than most people realize. And now we'll help you figure out what can be considered an optimum location. One important thing to remember while picking out a place to study is not to simply choose areas where people typically study. As Myers found in his book, The Secret to Taking Any Test, for many adults, the only quiet place to study in their busy lives is the bathroom. The key is not so much finding a specific location where you'll study, but instead finding a quiet place to do your study. This is a large part of how much information you'll end up retaining. While for some, this quiet place can be found in a bathroom, others find places such as libraries, certain diners, and empty classrooms in between classes to be good locations as well. Another important thing to know is where and when you shouldn't study. Do not study in bed or to the point of passing out on your books. There are a few reasons for this. First, studying in bed can cause insomnia, which can also result in having your mind trained so that the very act of studying makes you tired. In addition, studying to the point of passing out makes you forget more information than you remember, and can even cause uncomfortable sleep that leaves you more tired and sore than prepared. Well, that was the last piece of advice for you. Let's go over what you've learned. So we've gone over how to read through the material, how to make flashcards, and where it is helpful to study. As Rohr and Pashler found in The Effect of Repeated Writing on Memory, only 50% of US 8th graders could correctly multiply -5 and -7. And a recent survey found that very few of US adults could correctly locate the country Sudan.
Please help statistics like these be referred to as past tense from now on, and follow the study tips that we gave you and watch your score on your next test rise.